New Hampshire voters get their say on Tuesday in the primary. Here's how it's going to work. Voters head to their local polling place to cast a ballot. Republicans and Democrats vote in their own party's elections, but undeclared voters can take part in either side. And if you're not registered, you can sign up on site. For Democrats, though, this is an unusual year. It's state law for New Hampshire to be the first primary in the nation. But that's at odds with the Biden party, Democratic Party's pick of South Carolina to be the first. So the DNC is awarding no delegates in the contest. And President Biden won't actually be on the ballot. Instead, Democrats are pushing a write-in campaign. Ultimately, there are no delegates at stake, though, for Democrats. And Republicans are battling for 22, which candidates get based upon the result. So with just 2 days until the primary, which way are independent voters leaning? Let's ask our panel of 3 independent New Hampshire voters, Andrea Cahill, Daryl D'Angelo, and Brian Henchey. Join us now. Glad to have you all with us this morning. Daryl, let's start.
Good morning.
Thank you. Daryl, let's start with you. Here we are. We're just a day or two out from the primary. Self-described independent. Which way do you see yourself leaning when it comes time to vote?
I'm leaning into the Republican side, and I'm probably leaning toward Nikki Haley.
And why is that?
It's a lean. Because I'm looking for foreign policy experience. She has. I'm looking for youth. By youth, I mean not geriatric. And it's not carved in stone. I'm not hearing enough about immigration reform for anybody. I'm hearing a lot about control of the border. That's not enough of an answer. So I can't guarantee what I'm going to do, but I am going to be in the Republican primary.
You are going to be in the Republican primary. Okay, I want to return to you in just a moment, Daryl. Andrea, let's go to you. Also self-described independent. Which way are you leaning a couple days out?
So I will be voting Republican, and I will be voting for President Trump. He was here in Manchester last night. He touched on so many points that are important to me.
And what were those points that were important to you?
Border, fentanyl, inflation. Here in New Hampshire, we have a very high inflation. People are really struggling with housing and rental costs, as well as the fentanyl crisis.
You know, Andrea, I do want to follow up on that quickly. We had the chair of the New Hampshire GOP on the program a little bit earlier, and he said almost everybody in New Hampshire has been touched by this crisis, fentanyl. And I know that you have been touched by that crisis.
Yes. So it's a very important issue. And I've decided after I vote, I'm not going to go back to independent. I'm going to stay with the Republican Party. And
do you mind sharing with us how this terrible crisis has affected you and your family?
We have been affected. We lost our 19-year-old son to fentanyl poisoning, and we lost his dad a year later from the trauma of that.
Oh, my gosh. I'm so sorry, Andrea.
And many, many, many families across New Hampshire and across the country are suffering greatly from the fentanyl crisis and the border.
I can only imagine.
President Trump addressed last night in Manchester on day one. He will close the border. He will enact the Navy and start trying to curb the fentanyl from coming into the country.
I'm so sorry, Andrea. Thank you for sharing that. Nothing is a more motivating factor in solving a problem in the United States than obviously being touched with it so deeply and closely as you have. Brian, you're also a self-described independent. How would you say you're leaning a couple days out from the primary?
I am absolutely voting for Ron DeSantis. He is the only candidate running who has actually taken debt seriously in the state of Florida by paying it down by almost 25%. He also is very serious about closing down the border, making sure the drug traffickers are shut down. And let me also mention real quickly, let's not forget that Donald Trump said of New Hampshire that it's a drug-infested den. So I don't think Donald Trump really has the best idea of what New Hampshire is. Obviously, fentanyl has been a big problem here, but my biggest issue here is to make sure that we have a sane fiscal policy in the country. Even Donald Trump, who is a Republican, who's supposed to actually care about how much our government spends. He added $8 trillion to the national debt. So I'm sick and tired of Republicans who give lip service to not spending a lot of money. They get elected into office and then they spend money like crazy. So I'm ready to have a real fiscal conservative, and the only one like that in this race is Ron DeSantis.
Really quickly, as two follow-ups, Brian, it sounds to me like you took that description of New Hampshire as a drug-infested den as an insult instead of a problem to tackle that he is suggesting. That as we've talked about earlier with Andrea mentioning the problem of fentanyl, you didn't see that as an acknowledgement of the problem. You saw that as an insult?
If you call an entire state a drug-infested den, he didn't say the whole country has a problem with fentanyl. He said New Hampshire is a drug-infested den. So to me, it's a shame that Donald Trump talks in such ways. That's another reason why I don't want to support Donald Trump, including grab him by the P word. Let's not forget that this guy is not the best guy in the world, and that's not a person I'm going to be proud to vote for. So I'm absolutely behind Ron DeSantis. He's the only candidate in this race who is a true conservative, unlike Nikki Haley, who's a rhino endorsed by our rhino, Governor Sununu.
I hear you, Brian, and it sounds to me like these are opinions that probably have been held for quite some time in terms of your opinions of Donald Trump. I want to end this by going back to you, Daryl. I mentioned to you that I want to come back to this. You said that you're leaning towards Nikki Haley and you're open, but you will be voting in the Republican primary. Two quick follow-ups. Did you vote Democrat primary in the past? Have you been someone who has gone for either party depending on the election?
Yes, I've been an independent voter all my life.
Okay.
I don't like either party. I'm frustrated because they are more focused on destroying one another than they are focused on us.
And my really quick last question for you, Daryl, then, is you said you're kind of a little bit still in play, leaning towards Nikki Haley, but going to vote in the Republican primary. So who is the other candidate you're considering?
Ron DeSantis.
Okay. All right.
He would be the other one I would think of.
Okay. Brian, Daryl, Andrea, thank you all three very much for sharing your story and your opinions with us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
All right.